I got interested in colonial legacies when I was a graduate student, and I was really interested in finding out about Latin American economic development. Specifically, was there something to Spanish colonial legacy that made Latin American countries grow slower than, say, the future United States and Canada? And this book picks up from that, and we look at the evolution of political and economic development in Spain and England to see how that influenced the kind of colonial policies that they could have in the New World. The most surprising thing I think we learned in this research is just how long development actually takes. I think we tend to forget, we collapse down time when we think about our own experiences, and we become surprised with developing countries like, why haven't they developed faster? Why can't they just do what we did? But when you look at it, when you actually go into the history of Spanish development and English development, you find out that it takes many, many hundreds of years, and it was not a linear process, it was not an easy process. In fact, we call it tortuous at times, and that this is really important for what we know about, what we should know about development and what kind of advice we can give developing countries. I think the most important thing that we find is that, contrary to popular wisdom in economics, that the Spanish colonial legacy is totally different from what we thought. The idea in economics is that Spain tried to heavily regulate trade, was very bureaucratized, authoritarian, centralized, and this is because the Spanish state was so authoritarian and centralized. We find exactly the opposite. The fact that they tried to regulate trade so much is because the Spanish state was so very weak. And it was the English state that had a started to have a modern bureaucracy, a professional bureaucracy that was centralized, and because of that, they were able to have free trade. So it's exactly sort of the opposite of what has been traditionally said in economics about Spanish political development and English political development and how that influenced their colonies and their trade policies. I think that our book is really relevant for contemporary development policy, because even though it's historical and we're looking at colonialism, so we're looking back in the 1400s, 1500s, centuries like that, we learn that development takes a lot of time, and we start to learn about why it takes so much time, how these countries formed institutions, what is the process for forming good institutions. So a lot of times we think that developing countries should just be able to mimic or copy rich countries' institutions, and then we wonder why they don't get the same results. Well, and our book really shows that it's because it's when you just copy institutions that aren't formed from, say, trial and error and historical political struggles, that it's not going to have the same result. And I think we need to start looking at second best options, look to our own history, US history or English history, to find ways that we were able to overcome some of these problems and get good institutions. And this is, we should maybe look towards history to find solutions for problems in developing countries today. I think a lot of people would like this book. It cuts across a number of different disciplines, from economics to political science to history. Academics would like it, undergraduates and graduate students. I also think educated lay readers could find a lot to like in it. So it just came out in paperback. It's available on Amazon, so I would highly recommend that everyone buy a copy. Thanks.